Good morning, Mary. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good. How are you, Andrea?
Doing well, minus the solar flare situation this morning.
Right. Cell phones are out everywhere.
Who knew? Who knew? So there's
Right?
major outages like all across the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting. Solar flare is a great explanation. You kind of wonder if there's something else behind it, but solar flares are bound to knock a lot of stuff out.
For sure, for sure. So if you're having problems, with your cell phone service, apparently that's what this is all about. So cheers, welcome to the new world.
Cheers.
And we're going to be moving on.
Right?
I'm so glad to have you back. I know we're going
I'm
to talk.
glad to be back. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me. I know
Yeah,
last time
this,
was so much fun. I'm really looking forward to this.
yeah, it's so much fun. I'm looking forward to talking about Stellar. We got some big news. We're going to be talking about Hedera Hashgraph. And I did want to mention, so with our group here at Hodl On, right? We're going to hodl on
Toddle
until we
on.
hit the peak of the market. Then we're going to sell, sell, sell. Because we buy low and then we sell high. Over the
Exactly.
last 2 years, we've been going sideways and we
Yeah,
just keep dollar cost averaging. And
exactly.
soon we'll find out how much money we made. Because
Tons, I hope.
days like this, we giggle, right? When we wake up
Exactly.
and we see our coins go up 44%,
Right?
whatever it is, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And some of them have been consistently going up for the past 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, a lot of artificial intelligence tokens.
Yeah.
We're moving into a new world and the internet is moving to the blockchain, right? So the internet, we can share information, we can send each other emails, but the blockchain is a new technology where we're going to be able to send each other value through the internet. And automation, machine learning, artificial intelligence, we're seeing exponential growth, something that like our like little human minds can't even fully understand. But here we are sharing fun videos about Sora, artificial intelligence. Like I'm watching movies being able to be created in about a minute through just texting prompts, being like, create this for me, send.
Right?
And
Exactly.
it's so cool and scary all at the same time.
Well, it's really interesting because I had to write an email. I'm still crafting it, but I had to write an email to my clients letting them know some information. And I just went into Chat GPT and I said, okay, write an email to my clients. This is what I want to tell them. This is the kind of tone I want in the email. I want it to be upbeat. I want it to be positive. And, we went through 3 or 4 iterations, but what the final draft came out to be was amazing. There's no way my brain could have come up with all that. So it's amazing how fast you can do it. In 15 minutes of sitting in front of Chat GPT, I had this gorgeous email.
That's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
such a good co-pilot, even though the first time my wife used Chat GPT, she said, "Ooh, my IQ just went down."
All of ours did. Boom, just like that.
So let's remember to read books
Right, right.
that stimulate our mind. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the new banking system before we dive into like Stellar and some of our favorite projects. Um, over the course of the last, 4 years, like there's just been so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD. It's like, oh, you can't use a Bitcoin to buy a cup of coffee, and you can't use Bitcoin or crypto to like pay for your bills. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now you can,
Yes, you can.
right? So there's something called Wisdom Tree Prime, and Wisdom Tree is a very large asset management company. They actually have one of the Bitcoin spot ETFs. now they have a banking app on your phone, right? So you could just go to wisdomtreeprime.com and look at the new banking system. It's an app on your phone where you could buy and sell cryptocurrency. You could buy a cup of coffee using Bitcoin or any, cryptocurrency that they'll support. And you can even have digital gold, right, Mary? So we have our
Right.
Glint card, but
Yep.
now you can actually use gold to go buy goods and services all within one app.
I love this.
So if you have all your money at a bank, in a bank, in a bank, right? Think about
Right.
it. Just think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Wisdom Tree being available in my state. It's not here yet, but it's only a matter of time. They're going to be in all 50 states, and we'll be able to utilize this and, start using the Wisdom Tree card and buying our products and services. And it's amazing.
And it's beautiful. Like I love the user interface of the app. It's super
Yeah.
easy. I believe it's available in 38 states so far. So of
Right.
course it'll be coming to Washington soon. So it's
Yeah.
really cool. And I like to talk about it because so Wisdom Tree is a centralized version of the new banking system and a decentralized version of the banking system is Meld, right? We've been talking about Meld, and that's just a decentralized version. So also has a beautiful, user interface on the app, and it's not quite launched yet, right? They just came
Right.
out with staking services, but again, like Meld's gonna have 13 different currencies: buy, sell, loan, borrow against your crypto while you're staking your crypto. I mean, so, we're giggling, folks, because we understand what we own.
Exactly. Exactly. It's huge. It's
It's
huge.
huge. It's huge. I mean, here we are. We've been talking about the disruption, waiting for all of these layer one blockchains to connect to bring mass adoption. We're still not there yet, but
No, we're right at the beginning, and probably 98.9% of the population is not aware that any of this is going on.
I know.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend yesterday. I was at a coffee shop. We were having coffee, and I started talking about crypto, and she said, "You've talked about that before, and I'm just not sure about it. I know nothing about it." And so I'm so enmeshed in it and have been for 3 years that I forget that most of the population knows nothing.
Nothing. We live in a
Yeah,
different world.
we do.
I mean, we really do. Because this is the majority of my thought process during the day is,
Right?
artificial intelligence and machine learning. And, when are we going to hit artificial general intelligence? And most people are going to work and being like, why are things getting so expensive?
Yeah. Yeah. And the dollar just doesn't go as far as it used to. And, even me, I make decent money, and I have always been able to go to the grocery store and pick up anything I want. And now I go and I look twice at things because of the prices. They've gone up so much. And so it's made me be a little bit more conscious of my dollar and how far it will go. So I am kind of looking forward to the day when, I go into the grocery store and I pay for my groceries with Stellar, and everything's good.
And I love that. I love that. It's a good segue into Stellar. So
There you go.
there's something that I've been waiting for, right? So Stellar is one of my favorite projects. I love the idea of Stellar, being able to bank the unbanked. Living in America, we have the privilege of having the world reserve currency, at least for now. Things are obviously changing, but to have financial inclusion for everyone everywhere, all you need is an internet connection and a little cell phone, right?
Right.
And now, just I believe it was February 20th, we all get together and we vote on upgrading protocols to these blockchains, and smart contracts were approved on the Stellar blockchain.
Right? Yes.
So now decentralized applications are going to be able to be built on Stellar, which is
Yes.
so cool. Like you can actually create your own business, build an app, and it could be accessible to anyone anywhere around the world. And it's just so super exciting. And again, like kind of like what you just said, like we're so early. We are so early. Like it was literally just approved. They have one app because, like, it's beta testing. They have to test it for bugs. This is a big deal. It's just like Ethereum. Ethereum's the largest smart contract platform in the world. And we know the fees are high,
Right.
they have a lot of issues. And here we have something like Stellar, where if I send you Stellar, I say, okay, Mary, I just sent you XLM. And you're like, okay, I just received it.
Right? Within seconds. Seconds. Yeah.
So, if I send you Ethereum, what we do is we're like, oh man, this is like $4.53 to send you $20. Is that the
Right?
new financial system?
No, thank you on that one.
No, thank you. And Ethereum will fix their problems.
They will. They
They
have
will.
to. They have no choice.
Right.
Otherwise, they die.
Otherwise, they die and we quickly sell our Ethereum and
Yes.
we buy more
Yes.
Stellar, not financial advice.
Right. Never financial advice. We're just two people hobbying out there having fun.
I mean, that's the thing, right? And I think the whole reason why we show up every week and we talk to our friends, we talk to our family, because you have your own computer business. Like I was an IT recruiter for over 20 years. So for me, it's like getting another job, right? Andrea, find me a Solidity developer who can build on the Ethereum network. Okay, and I go out and
Right?
I look for someone and I learn what they're doing. And just to have that tech background, it does give us that advantage.
Mhm. It
And I
does. It
and I
does.
get that. And I just, Mary and I want to encourage everyone listening to this, share this with your friends and family because we're moving to a new economy that's being leveraged on technology.
Yes.
And we should do this. If we can send an email for free anywhere in the world, we should be able to send money to anyone in the world for a fraction of a penny.
Exactly, exactly. And there's so many real life use cases for something like this. I mean, I know you've talked before in the past of the migrant farm workers sending money back to their family in a different country, and what they would have to pay in fees to wire that money is just ridiculous. And
Yeah.
with a product like Stellar, being able to send, $300 to their family, and it costs like 2 cents, and it's there instantaneously. There's no waiting. You don't have to go to a Western Union store to pick up your cash, minus the 33% fees or whatever it is they charge. So yeah, it's huge. It's huge for these people.
It's so huge. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with a lot of these third party intermediaries,
Mhm.
because Stellar did buy a chunk of MoneyGram.
Right.
So, if you're a migrant worker, you're farming in California, you're sending money to your family in Mexico, and if they want those actual pesos in their hand, they can walk into any MoneyGram and you
Mhm.
convert your XLM into the peso.
Right.
Even if you're sending dollars, they can anything of
Yes.
value into anything, and then you can walk out with a physical peso in your hand.
Mhm.
That is awesome.
Well, it was a brilliant move on the part of Stellar to do that. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just the work that Stellar's been doing, something that I've been talking about now for probably over a year is the tokenization of our bond market with the United States government. And Jenny Jones is the CEO of a company called Franklin Templeton. They're worth $1.4 trillion. They also have a spot Bitcoin ETF. And I listened to an interview that Jenny Jones did, and she said, like, Bitcoin is the greatest distraction. She's not against Bitcoin. Like, she has a spot Bitcoin ETF, but again, you know, sending Bitcoin, like, Bitcoin is a great store of value. It's a great hedge against inflation. It's money outside the system. It's digital gold, in my personal opinion.
It is.
But like tokenizing the bond market, right? And using the Stellar blockchain is amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. And I think I wrote, where are we? $324 million. The Stellar blockchain has tokenized the bond market. The bond market is worth trillions and trillions of dollars.
Right, right.
So
Wait
what
until
happened?
it's all tokenized. That value is going to be huge.
Huge, huge. So, to be able to invest in something like Stellar without being an accredited investor. Normally, accredited investors have access to projects like Stellar, when they're, kind of like just in that early adoption,
Right.
testing things out. You have to make $250,000 a year, have a net worth of over $1 million.
That leaves out 99.9% of the population.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want the 99% to come
Yeah.
and pick up some Stellar, not financial advice, at least do some research in it and look at a project like Stellar that's trading at 10, 11, 12 cents, because this is just the beginning, you
Just
know,
the beginning.
just the beginning. So it's just so super exciting. And I see like Ethereum is doing really well also with tokenizing the bond market, but to look at Stellar being number two at 11 cents when Ethereum is 3,000,
Right.
you know,
Someday XLM may be worth $3,000. Who knows? It would be nice. It would be
I'm
nice.
open to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about, inviting that 99% into, do their research and pick up some coins that are really good value, you don't have to, you know, invest $1,000 at one chunk to get a good value out of it. You can spend $5 in the market and pick up your coins. And $5, $20, you can do a weekly purchase, automated purchase through a
Yeah.
pump and get your coins. And you're going to dollar cost average in. And over the course of a couple of years, you're going to be sitting really nice.
Really nice. It's like
Yeah.
I just think about this so much with so many of these projects. Like, even just looking at Bitcoin, you would need a lot of Bitcoin, 5, 10 years ago just to buy a house. Now you need what, 8?
Right.
So technology is deflationary,
Yeah. Yeah.
and as we print more and more and more dollars, right? Because, our debt is so high and we just have to keep printing more money to pay off the debt.
Right.
It's not sustainable. Jerome Powell, our leader at the central bank, he even said this isn't sustainable. It's
Mhm.
not sustainable. And, I'm sure the dollar is not going to go to zero, but what can we invest in that's going to maintain and even increase our purchasing power?
Right.
And that's why I like looking at some of these projects, like a Stellar, that's
Mhm.
that's being built on so many different platforms, helping humanitarian aid. So when countries have fires, earthquakes, things like that, they can actually just like get this app and have humanitarian aid sent to them in the form of XLM, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Totally, totally. So we got MoneyGram, we got the tokenization of bonds. Even MoneyGram, so cool. They've built a self-custody wallet on the Stellar blockchain.
Yeah.
So, you can actually just like hold your tokens, your XLM, using a MoneyGram like non-custodial wallet for free. I mean, it's
Right.
just really cool.
There are so many innovations and technologies going on right now. I would love to sit here and talk about all of them, but there's so many going on. It's pretty exciting.
I know, it's so exciting. There's so many tokens, and this is why, like, sometimes we have to like have interventions and be like, okay, I know everyone holds 30 tokens, but there's this really great project.
Right, right. Well, and there's nothing that says, if you hear about a good project, pump a little bit of money into it. It doesn't have to be much. Like I said, 20, 50, $100, and see what it does. I did that with Jasmine, and I put $50 into Jasmine, I think last spring. And it's probably tripled in value, which
Right,
granted, 50 times 3 is only 150, but to see something like that triple in value, because we as ordinary citizens aren't used to seeing that. We put our money in a savings account and we're lucky to get 1/10 of 1% back on interest.
right,
We're just not used to this, so it's
right.
really kind of exciting to see that grow.
It's such a different way to save. And I mean, my thing too, like throwing something like $50 into, a project like Jasmine, decentralized storage.
Mhm.
Doesn't it make you want to learn more about decentralized storage?
Exactly.
And then you learn about projects like Jasmine, like Akash, like a Flux, and just look at the growth rate of these projects over the past year. I mean, every morning I'm posting in our private Telegram group, good morning, hodlers, with like coin market caps, like, like congratulations. Okay. Here are some tokens that haven't moved yet. And then 3 days later, it's like, wow, Hedera Hashgraph's up 30%, like
Exactly.
so there's always projects to invest in. And it's fun to learn about the new economy because
Yeah.
I mean, there's this whole new economy going on that's not just the dollar.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And if
Yeah.
we're only earning 1, 2, 3% and inflation goes up, 3% a month, if it
Right.
just, our dollars debase. We need more dollars to purchase things. Well, what can we invest our money in that's going to really increase our purchasing power? And
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
see anything better than cryptocurrency, honestly.
There is nothing out there that equals what's happening with cryptocurrency right now. And the fact that it's everywhere. All the financial institutions, even though 2 years ago you would talk to them and they'd say, "Oh, crypto, no way. We're not going anywhere near that. It's for thieves and money laundering." And now they're all adopting it after they tried to put the fear into us 2 years ago. Now they're adopting it.
Of course, they're putting the
Yeah.
fear in us during a bear market when you could pick up Bitcoin at 16
Right.
grand.
Exactly.
you know, and we're not even like at the halving point for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin halves in April, and I guarantee you, 6 months later, when Bitcoin's trading between 80 and 100,000, they're going to be like, Bitcoin's the best. Come on in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they don't want us to buy in a bear market. They don't want us to get that value. And I know a lot of people who in the bear market, they stopped purchasing because it was the fear, the uncertainty, the
Right.
doubt. And they thought, I'm pumping money into something that has no value anymore. But it's a cyclical market. What
Absolutely.
goes up comes down, and what comes down has to go back up again. So,
Exactly. And
yeah,
this is an emerging market, right? We're
right,
just starting to get adopted. So, of course, there's volatility.
right.
Just like when the internet came out, I mean, Amazon crashed, I think 95 8% after the dot-com boom.
Mhm.
You know, what if we bought it back then when it
Right,
crashed down? And no one was
exactly,
going to use Amazon. No one was going to buy a book.
right.
That's all it was an online
It was
bookstore. It was
just books. And now I go to Amazon to buy everything,
right.
everything. It's like the easy button. Boop.
No, I
Tomorrow
know.
it's on my front doorstep. And sometimes
Two.
this afternoon. And a mile down the road from me, they are building this huge, mega warehouse. I mean, this thing is massive. It's going to be an Amazon distribution center a mile down the road.
That's awesome. And then soon you're
Yeah.
going to have your packages delivered to you by drones.
By drone, yes.
And I'm
Yes,
sure that in that warehouse down the street, I would put money on it that it's full of drones getting ready to deliver your goods.
right. That warehouse is so big they could be flying the drones inside of it. And they would never crash into each other.
No.
Wow.
I know, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. And it's like, just to kind of jump into Hedera for a moment, because since we're
Mm.
mentioning drones, we're having major issues, right, with our supply chain right now,
Mhm.
and Hedera has partnered, with like a big port in the UK, and they're running drones on the Hedera network to deliver goods.
That is so awesome.
You know, okay, and like Hedera is what? Like, I mean, I know it went up a lot, but it's still like 11 cents.
It's
You know,
still really affordable. It's at, yeah, 11 cents right now. Yeah, it's up 7 cents today. 7%. 7%.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. So it's like when I look at projects like Hedera and I see like what companies are backing Hedera Hashgraph, and we got Dell, Google, Hitachi, Wipro, Nemera, Boeing, LG. I mean, the list goes on, and they're all going to be building applications for real world use.
Mhm.
And I think this bull market, we are going to see some of these projects actually being used in the real world.
Yes. Yes.
And when these crypto projects, when the tokens are actually being utilized, that is going to create a price increase.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and I'm not saying I want all of this stuff to happen, but it's happening, right? So there's a company called Mondelez. It kind of reminded me of an episode of Seinfeld, you know, when George Costanza was like, Vandelay, work for Vandelay. Did you ever watch
Right.
that? Like, so when I saw that Hedera, partnered with Mondelez, and now that they're running a node as well to help keep that network secure, they're a huge, iconic food corporation. Oreo cookies, Triscuits, Toblerone, the list
Right.
goes on and on, like Ritz crackers, so the traceability and tracking of the supply chain to deliver the food,
Right. It's all right there. It's
it's
all right
all
there. Yeah.
unbelievable.
Well, and speaking of supply chains, so I have run into a couple of instances recently, and I'm really surprised about this with Amazon, where I've ordered a product and it seems to go into a black hole. Nobody knows where it is. It's stuck somewhere between Oregon and Washington. Nobody has any idea when it's going to be delivered. But if they were tracking their deliveries using the blockchain, this
Yeah.
wouldn't happen. They would know exactly where those products were.
And it's coming. And I wonder
Is
who's going to be in charge of Amazon's supply chain.
that's a good question. Really good question.
I'll do some research. Because it could be Hedera, it could be VeChain, It could be
Right,
so many different projects. So it's just really interesting to see. We'll see what happens.
right.
Because I know, like I said, Google's running a node on Hedera. And again, like watching their ecosystem being built out and how like Stellar has its own ecosystem and they're going to have decentralized finance and all these awesome products being built. And Hedera is doing the same thing. Like I
Yeah.
just saw not too long ago, like the total value locked up on their decentralized exchange called Saucer Swap. I mean, some of this is really funny. It's got like a little alien icon,
Oh, that's awesome.
but people are using like, decentralized exchanges like a Uniswap, which is the largest, but that's built on Ethereum. Who wants to pay those fees?
Right.
I'd much rather use like MinSwap on Cardano or like a Saucer swap on Hedera. And,
Yes.
we'll see what the DEX is going to be. I haven't really done like a super deep dive. But I know like for like Stellar, like there's a product called Aquarius and it's Aqua. And that's going to be providing liquidity for the automated money makers. So, I got my Lobster wallet downloaded, for Stellar. And again, I don't need any more tokens, but it's really difficult not to like participate in all these ecosystems. So,
Right.
I've always been a big fan of Cardano. So I got my Meld, I got my Genius Yield, Singularity Net, like all these fun projects. And, so I'm definitely going to be diving in with Hedera and Stellar for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 Have you downloaded the Lobster wallet yet?
I have not. I have not. I kind of get a little, not necessarily nervous, but when it comes to downloading stuff like this and really diving in, it takes time.
Yeah.
And with running a business, I want to make sure I do it right. So I do one at a time and kind of dive into it and get to know it. So that one is on my list, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay. And where are you keeping your Hedera right now?
I've got the Hashpack wallet on my phone, and that's where I'm keeping it.
Okay. Have you
And it's
staked?
staked.
It is
It's
staked.
staked. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's doing well.
Yeah. So every
Yeah, it's
day
exciting.
we're earning passive income.
Right?
Across the bottom.
And it may be just, one or two coins every week or two, but over time it adds up. I think I've earned over 100 coins so far in my staking. And when the prices go up, who knows what those 100 coins are going to be worth? I mean, that could fund my expenses for a year at some point in time. Who knows? And it was passive income that I had to do nothing to
Nothing.
earn except push a button on my phone.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And I think it's really cool. Like, so when you're using Hashpack and you're like, okay, I want to stake my Hedera, you can actually see all of the nodes, all of the
right.
companies that hold the nodes for Hedera. It's very impressive. It's
Yes.
very, very impressive.
Yes. Yeah. I
So,
think that was a good purchase, and I'm excited to see that one grow.
yeah, me too. Me too. I'm excited to see it grow. I know they did that deal with Hyundai and Kia, and now they're going to be doing tracking and traceability on carbon emissions for those cars,
Yes. Yes.
right?
That'll be interesting.
Very interesting. And I believe that went live. Like that's
Yeah.
a live project,
Yeah.
using Hedera's network. And again, it's just like it's so interesting to me. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like carbon credits and things like that, but who am I, right? It's not like I'm making decisions for the world, right?
Right.
I'm like, look, if we need carbon credits, to pay for goods and services, or if we're still driving like a gasoline car, why not have a lot of carbon credits?
Right.
Right? So we could pay for that extra tax because that's what it's going
Yeah.
to be. And and that's one of the reasons why I love Hedera, and I love, XRP does the United Nations um, exchange. It's called Xange, and they use XRP for their carbon credit platform. So this is a whole new ecosystem that's being rolled out. I know a lot of people don't even know that this is happening, but by 2030, we're going to be on this new system, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
Well,
think you're
that's what
right.
they're telling us.
Well, 6 years from now, that's only 6 years from now. And look at all of the changes that we have seen in crypto in the past 3 years. It's just mind blowing where we're going to be 6 years from now. It's going to be totally different than where we are right now. Some things we are not even going to recognize. It's exciting. Isn't this an exciting time to live?
I think this is the best time to be alive. And I know it can be overwhelming, but just to be a witness and an observer and a participant, in some ways, like I'm not
Right?
going to be wearing a headset, you know, but like, but like it's so fascinating to see, especially like, I mean, I was studying, the World Economic Forum since like 2005. So to see all of these things like happen, it's
Right.
mind blowing and it's kind of validating to a lot of people thought I was crazy, Mary, you know? And now like I get a phone call and they're like, Andrea, okay, so what's going on? Because everything you're
Right.
saying is coming true. Microchipping of human beings, like all of these things,
Yeah.
and they're like, it's not a conspiracy, it's on their website. So,
It's there for the entire world to read. Exactly.
exactly, exactly. And it's just, so many times it's like people are like, where are you getting all this information from? I'm like, from the company's website.
Yeah.
Just go to their website, read all the things, and it's so fascinating. It's just like even something like Wisdom Tree to be like
Mhm.
we're moving to a multi-currency world. I know it's hard for us as Americans to understand, but when I see something from like a Wisdom Prime, I'm like, or Wisdom Tree Prime, I'm just like, this is so validating. And we're
Right.
moving forward. So wow, I'm really glad I have my gold, I got my stellar, I got my Bitcoin, I got all this
All
money.
the
That's
things.
all the
Yeah.
things. I got all the things,
Yeah,
So it's really cool. It's really
it is.
cool.
It
So,
is.
so another thing I wanted to mention too, like just to get back to Hedera is like, right now, obviously, we're seeing this really strong narrative around artificial intelligence, like NVIDIA, that we need the GPUs, we need the
Right.
CPUs, but we have real world asset tokenization happening. And there is a project it's called Red Swan, and they've tokenized $4 billion so far of commercial real estate.
$4 billion of commercial real estate?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
that's built on Hedera. And again, it's something like this is just getting started, but can you imagine what it's going to be, when we get like mass adoption, right? So I've talked about a project called Proppy, about like
Right.
way back in the day and tokenizing real estate, taking something that's normally illiquid, right? If we're buying real estate, it's not something that we buy, we hold it, we have a rental, things like that. But now we're talking about fractional ownership of
Right.
real world assets that we could buy and 30 days later be like, oh, this project's better. I'm going to sell that. I'm going to buy that. And it's instantaneous. Kind of cool.
Exactly.
Kind of
Exactly.
cool. Mm-hmm.
So if I understand this correctly, if your house, say I tokenize my house and I decide I might want to refinance. So instead of doing a refinance, I just sell tokens in my home.
Exactly.
So I don't have full 100% ownership, but I'm able to take advantage of the value of my home, leverage that value for purchases of other goods and services.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it allows everyday people to actually participate in owning a piece of real estate, whereas
Right.
before you would have to have, 20% down. And then if you own multiple houses, all of a sudden they want 25% down, which is a
Right.
lot of money when you're buying a property worth a couple hundred grand. So
Exactly.
now, just with like a little bit of money, well, you can own a piece of a house or an apartment building or a complex like on the ocean or somewhere even outside the United States. Like,
Right.
democratization of ownership is here, and it's so cool, it's so exciting, because I know there's a lot of people that wish that they could participate in real estate, and now you can.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I know, everything is so exciting. I love talking to you.
I would be curious to find out of all that commercial real estate that's been tokenized, where does it exist? What's been tokenized? Does their website list
Yeah,
opportunities you can invest in?
absolutely. Just go to their website and like check it out. It's really cool, and we're just getting started, and it's just so it's just mind-blowing, because I think like you look at Solana and you look at some of their projects that just took off, right? And it really brought that price of Solana. It was trading around, I think, $10, and all of a sudden it's $100, and something like a Stellar Hedera can have just one project that really gets mass adopted super quickly, that can really help like bring value into this ecosystem. So something like a red swan can absolutely do that. Or
Yes.
how about artificial intelligence integrity?
Hmm.
As we move into this mixed reality world where we don't know what's real and what's not,
Right.
well, a project like that on Hedera can be a game changer.
Yes.
And I know they're working with a company called Accenture to do this. Accenture has 9,000 clients, three-quarters of them are Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, 743,000 employees, and 120 different countries. So what happens if Hedera's integrity for AI gets adopted? I mean, I would bet on Accenture to bring this to the
Absolutely.
masses.
Absolutely.
I'll place my bet instead of going to the horse race.
Right. Absolutely.
you know. So, I mean, we could just really see an explosion of price. And again, we're not even in like a full-fledged bull market yet, even though we
Oh,
kind
we're
of
right at the beginning. Just the
begin.
beginning. Yeah. Yeah.
Whew, super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first got into crypto, it was the height of the last bull run. So I was buying everything way up here. And it's taken a couple of years for it to come down to this point. But now we're at this point where um, the slingshot is being pulled back. And we're kind of at this pause area right here. And one of these days soon, we're going to let go of that slingshot and
Right.
everything is going to skyrocket.
I love that analogy. I love that. It's so interesting because there's only so much pull, right? If you got to let it go, you
Right.
got to let it go. It's just,
Yeah.
I think about, even like with XRP, I saw they were interviewing him on the news the other day, Brad Garlinghouse, he's the CEO of Ripple. And, they asked him, they're just like, have you been talking with BlackRock about a spot XRP ETF? Like it's only a matter of time
It's
before we
only a
get,
matter of time.
it's only a matter of time. And it's
Yeah.
like, we're so early. And even though you bought at the top, you've spent 2 years every day. Like, I love your enthusiasm, your motivation to learn about these projects. And then you're still dollar cost averaging. So even though you bought at the top, well, now you've been buying at all these lows,
Exactly.
right? So you're bringing down your price point, and then there'll be a day when Bitcoin passes 69,000 and all the other coins go up, and we'll be like, congratulations, everyone who bought Bitcoin, you're in profit.
Exactly. And I didn't start buying Bitcoin until it was at a low point. It was like, I think I was buying Bitcoin at 27.
Nice.
And now it's at what? It's somewhere between, it's 51.4 right now. And so my Bitcoin purchases have been very profitable so far. I haven't sold anything, but the value that has increased with my Bitcoin holdings has been amazing.
And I love it, and like, and I've been, I've been in crypto for a while, and it's just like, for me, when I think about Bitcoin, like, I don't think I'm ever going to sell my Bitcoin unless we get like these really substantial, like, quantum systems that can take Bitcoin down. Because it's just like Bitcoin is only going to grow in value.
Mhm.
Like, as all these dollars in all these countries all around the world, like, to me, I'll borrow against my Bitcoin, you
Right.
know, for
Mhm.
goods and services. It just doesn't make sense at this point to sell my
Yeah.
Bitcoin. And as BlackRock and Fidelity and ARK Investments and all of these big asset management companies, we still Deloitte, one of the largest accounting firms in the world, they hold Bitcoin on their treasury.
Mhm.
Eventually, this volatility is going to go away.
Yeah.
So this wealth transfer that's available to everyone is going to be less and less.
Yes.
Why I just really want to encourage everybody, like, we're doing a Q&A, Saturday at 11 o'clock
Saturday. Yeah.
Eastern. Like, just come and ask questions, any question. Like, there's no judgment. We love everybody. We want everyone to learn about this and become part of what we're believing to be the greatest wealth transfer in the history.
Absolutely. And most of the population has no clue that this wealth transfer is going on.
Right.
So it's up to us to educate those folks. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so put the link to the class in the notes below so people can find it.
Absolutely. Yep. And
Yeah.
you can just check us out at hodalon.me. I got a new website. You can email me at digitalcoach@protonmail.com. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. And Mary's doing this with me because we want to help people. We're
Exactly.
not pumping and dumping coins. We're looking at these new ecosystems being built. The internet of value is coming to a town near you. So,
Exciting times, really exciting times. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I appreciate you. I love you.
Oh, thank you, Andrea. I love you too. And I'm so in awe of your knowledge. I sit here and listen to you talk, and it's like, wow.
Well, thank you so much. Like I said, I feel so super fortunate to have, this extensive tech background, and,
Yeah,
just to kind of, none of us know for sure like how this is going to end and how this is going to
yeah,
play out, but we are the 99%. So let's steer the ship. Let's create the world that we want to see. We got this.
absolutely. We do.
All right. So until next week, Mary, what do we always say?
We always say hodl on.
Huddle on, y'all. See you next week.
Bye, Andrea.
Bye bye.